Welcome to the New Creators Podcast. My name is Micah.
My name is Sean.
And I'm Elsie.
Alrighty, and we are back with another episode. Is this the first episode since TNC Live? Or
second.
Okay,
yeah.
Alright, never mind. Then we don't need
we
to go
had
over that.
you forgot Blimp, man. Blimp.
That was a good episode. I wasn't able to make it for that, but I did go back and listen to it, and that was quite an excellent episode.
Yeah. It was amazing being there and getting to it was the most bizarre thing just seeing Corbin come in and bring out this board with a trout drawn on it.
I really truly wish I could have been there during that recording, and I'm quite sad that I missed that. But yeah, that was pretty legendary.
Yeah, I like how we've got this canon now of different mascots, because we've got the couches and we've got Blimp now.
I need to ask Ethan about for updates about the couch, how
that's
going.
I think there is an update, wasn't there?
Well, there was an update that someone was coming to pick it up.
But we don't know if they've been picked up yet.
Yeah,
I think
I'll log into Waystub and make sure that Ethan hasn't posted anything.
I'll check also.
If y'all aren't familiar, it's waystub.money/@couch.
Nice plug. Nice plug.
Indeed.
Yeah. So it's the last update we had was a local Texas roadhouse will be taking the couches, and they're getting rolls in return. So I think that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good trade. But yeah, that's the last update we have on the couches. So I like to think that we helped get those couches out of Brian's hair.
Oh, definitely. We definitely did.
We probably didn't, but I just pretend we did.
I'm gonna send a text to Ethan. Maybe he'll respond before the episode is over, and we can find out the status of the couches.
Everyone needs to now listen to the whole episode, because we might hear from Ethan, and get some more updates on the couch.
Yeah,
for sure.
So listen to the whole thing, please, for the love of God, please.
Definitely.
And all the other episodes as well.
Of course.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All the episodes are great.
Yep.
Let's go over some analytics real quick, or some audience statistics, which we haven't done in a while. I don't know why, but we haven't done that in a while, it seems like. So the United Kingdom has risen to 17% of our listeners.
Ooh.
And then another 6% is Australia, which is kind of cool.
G'day. Sorry, that's probably a terrible Australian accent, but
we've got people. So our countries of reach, we've got the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Saudi Arabia, India, France, Canada, Germany, New Zealand, Malaysia, Switzerland, Sweden, South Korea, Spain, Thailand, Hong Kong, and Turkey. Thank you to all of our listeners all over the globe. That
is a lot
really
of countries.
Cool. That is a lot of countries. Indeed.
Yeah.
And then shout out to the 45 to 59 age bracket that makes up 23% of our listeners somehow.
That's Perrin's mum and that.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because it can't be. Yeah, I guess so.
That's my guess.
Then, Android users are currently making up a solid 49% of our listeners. Thank you to Android users. iPhone users only 28%. And then the rest of it is Mac and web. 77% of our listeners are on Spotify. That's a solid percentage.
Yeah.
And then, it doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't either, especially since we've got around 40 Spotify followers, which is pretty good, because if you follow a podcast on Spotify, that means you get notifications each time an episode is released, and that's pretty decent.
Spotify will then proceed to advertise every podcast on their platform all at once at you as well.
This is true.
In a short form video style content.
Oh yes, of course.
No, good grief.
Oh dear. But yeah. Is there any more data, or because we didn't get
the only other unique statistic we have is that the introductions episode, which was the first episode we ever recorded, has reached 115 plays.
Oh no, let's be honest, that's the worst episode for audio quality.
It is. I I wish people would. Well, not even audio quality, but also just like interactions. Like,
oh god, I went
3 more episodes in, and you're gonna get like a much better listening experience.
Yeah, I remember I think I was talking to you a bit about it earlier this week, and I was saying I went and listened to it a little bit, and oh my god, it's the most awkward thing. It's like
it's pretty bad,
and the audio quality, like I sound like I'm talking like on a potato. I don't know what in the world was going on with that mic, but it was terrible.
Yeah, I was using like an Amazon microphone that was like $40 on Amazon.
Mine was like 10 quid, so at least yours was $40.
Yeah, fair enough. But it was equally bad. So, now hey, look at this. We're running Blue Yetis and actually knowing how to host an episode. It's excellent.
Yeah, speaking of hosting, we've also got a new guest that we haven't actually introduced properly, so I thought, hi, Elsie.
This is correct.
Hello.
Hello. Would you like to just kind of introduce yourself and what you do and what people might know you for?
Elsie. I am a graphic designer, and I also do some music production. I feel like that's more recently. I'm currently working on Star 3 and a participant in Brand Battle 5.
Oh, I judge that. Shameless.
Is Brand Battle 5 still happening?
I'm insulted. Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm sorry. You act like I should know what's going on. I left the Scratch community. I left the Scratch community so long ago.
You left it, but it doesn't leave you.
That's true.
Just saying.
You can take the kid. You can take the teenager out of the Scratch community, but you can't take the Scratch community out of the teenager.
True. This is true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm excited to hear more about that. Obviously, especially Star 3. I'm excited to hear how that's going.
Yep.
But yeah. So, Sean, let's start with you. What have you been working on lately?
Oh boy, here we go. So I just released an album yesterday as Oriali, a mashup album of Joji Smithereens and just a bunch of stuff. So you might remember I've talked about on the podcast a while ago, and it was 3 AM Freestyle. That's the one that we were talking about a while ago. That was the one with like the Trump and Joe Biden meme and the I don't know if you remember the song.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
So now most normal people would think, okay, that's funny. I'm going to stop there, because I'm not clinically insane. But this is me we're talking about. So of course I went back and did a mashup for every single song on that album. So that's 9 tracks. And yeah, it's out now. And yeah, it's
SoundCloud.
It's on SoundCloud, yeah. I even made a new SoundCloud account just for Oriali because I thought, why not? So
respectable, because your actual music is good, and this is quite interesting.
That's a nice way of putting it.
I've listened to part of one. I've listened to part of one track.
What track? Do you know what one it was?
I haven't. Crap. I think it was "Feeling Like Dog Days." I think.
Oh yeah.
That one was actually like such a good song. Like I would listen to that like on repeat, like unironically.
I don't know what that says about you. I don't know what I don't know what to say on that. I just like how you said, Micah, is like, your actual music's really good, and this is interesting. That's a very nice way of putting it.
Hey, it's I try to be diplomatic in every way that I can.
Yeah, that's why you're good at hosting. But yeah,
I try.
But yeah, so that's out now. If anyone's interested in seeing what in the world's wrong with me, then yeah, nice. Listen to that, I guess. Yeah,
fun,
very fun.
Alrighty, what have you been working on, Elsie?
Mostly Star 3, and yeah, it's summer break for me, so I don't really have much to work on.
Nice.
And
same here.
I also went to Maine recently, which was a lot of fun.
Nice. How fun. Do you want to explain real quick to our listeners what is Star 3, or what is like the Star series in general?
So the Star series is a series of platformers on Scratch, and they don't. I guess they don't really focus on being like difficult, just appealing visually and like I'm trying to like. So the first one was made by Atelier B and Vubi, and the second one was made by, I'm pretty sure it was sorry, I'm thinking.
Is it Cynistic? Am I correct in saying that? I may be wrong about that.
I think it was, yeah.
Don't quote me on that. Let's see here. Star 2.
Here we go.
We go. Analysts. It's Analysts.
Oh, yeah, Analysts.
Yeah.
And
Legend.
So I'm currently working on the third game in the series.
How fun. Yeah, Star is so from what I understand, it's just basically just a platform. It's mainly visually focused, and it's somewhat of a phenomenon within the little Scratch graphic design community. It's got currently 135,000 views on Scratch. The original one does.
Sheesh.
And Star 2,
wow.
Let's look at Star 2. Star 2 is sitting at a nice 4,000. So
not bad. That's a good bit of clout there.
Indeed.
A spoonful of clout.
I'm also just noticing the fact that I haven't checked my messages in so long, and it's at like sitting at like 225 unread messages, and I have no desire to open that.
Who's to bet the most is studio notifications?
There's actually There's so many comments on my profile. Oh my gosh, it's like a burrito all over again.
Oh god, though. Oh, not that again. I don't know where it was, but I think I saw it somewhere, and I was like, when everyone was spamming you and you had to use it. I think it was a bot or something you made just to like absolutely obliterate all the comments.
I did. I had to create a script that went through and one by one just deleted every single comment on my profile. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was on when you were on a break and from Scratch, and people spammed your
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna take like a month and a half break, and then I came back and I had like 3,000 messages, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. This is funny. This person says, "What happened to this guy? Left Scratch, got too old or something."
I mean, you're not wrong, but it's a pretty brutal way of putting it. It is a pretty brutal way of putting it. I don't know even what my comments are. Like, I do reply to them occasionally, but I don't check them as much as I used to.
This person says, "I've listened to some episodes of TNC. It's cool."
Some?
Let's go.
Some? How
about
episodes. You listen to them all? Hurry up.
Listen to them all. I'm tempted to just reply and just like use the shock factor to make him, because I have not commented on my profile in 7 months. Oh gosh.
You should comment I will return. I will return to Scratch if you reply.
My favorite comment so far is, "Can you follow me? I followed you." Follow for follow. Follow for F for F.
Oh, I love those comments, because anytime I get them on Oriali, I just make some like ridiculous like nonsense. I'll see if I can quickly find one, because I thought I saw one recently that I replied to. Yeah, right. So this is, "Can you follow me?" And then I just said, "I don't know, can I? Is it legal for me to follow you around wherever you go? The last time I checked, it was illegal to follow people. I am a law-abiding citizen who would never ever do something like this. I'm a good girl who only does good things." So there you go.
That's funny.
That's the best way to deal with them.
That is the best way to deal with them, yeah. I am considering, like, at some point in the future, like, if it becomes like, hey, I got a lot of time and I feel like I could, like, use something to do, I might, like, return to Scratch for, like, a month and just see what would happen, because I am kind of curious about what would happen. I don't know much about what's been going on in the design community lately, so I would be interested to see kind of how stuff is going. It kind of seems like we passed the golden age, though, of that kind of.
I feel like that happens all the time, though, because I remember when I was like, we were kind of starting to kind of become more popular, and that people were saying that was the end of the golden age, because then it's kind of a thing where everyone thinks their age is a golden age, but who knows?
That's true, but there definitely was
Yeah.
a specific group like you and Ethan, like Equidas, like
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think like who are the other big ones.
I mean,
When
Burrito was
Cyanistic
like
was
a
on,
riot at the time.
Burrito.
Oh
Yeah,
god, the art of
Burrito was on.
spamming. I remember when that came out, and I was mentioned in it because obviously I was quite well known for being spammed in my comment section.
Mm-hmm.
I got like every day I'd wake up and I had like over 100 messages.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It was so funny, and half of them were literally just the same thing of, "Please follow me." Same thing. So,
yeah. I don't know. So I feel like there's definitely I'm probably just missing out on some things, but like I don't know. It does feel like that was kind of like a kind of little era there that
it was a vibe.
Yeah. I don't like
So
you're kind of on Scratch. Who are like the designers to follow now these days? Like are there those people? Because like I know there are certain designers like if you created like a generic design account, you would go and there were like 20 accounts that were like the designers that you would just like follow as a rite of passage. Vectory is Vectory still posting things?
I don't know if he posts, but everyone's still like if you go to his profile, I bet like all these new like generic accounts just follow him because everyone just kind of knows him as like he's the design guy.
He hasn't done anything for 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, I just went to his profile and found like a generic like profile like within like a second without even having to like click anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. I feel like our era is still kind of like not maybe relevant in the sense like people like are active like engaging as much, but like people still kind of know.
Okay, here we go. Here's the people I was talking about. So like our golden age was kind of like Vectory, you, me, Ethan, Querzant, Mini-Sun, Locked, Alphabetica, Infinite Scratch. Like those were the days.
They were wild times.
I would love to speak with Infinite Scratch again. I haven't talked with him in like such a long time.
Yeah, I've not talked to them at all. I don't think I've really talked to them at all, really.
We talked a few times. We were like decent friends, like when I was like early Scratch. Probably,
God!
Or not like early.
That reminds me
I had
of
like
your
2 eras.
What's the account that's like has the M logo, but it's not like the good one.
Gosh.
It's like that really bad one. You know, like
was it Micah LT _ design?
I think so. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it is.
Goodness.
It's always funny because like everyone has old accounts, and then my main account is my oldest account. So like if you go to like page 4, it's like got the worst content you've seen in your life.
That's another thing though. At Micah LT, which was my first account, officially reached 9 years, which is a long time. It feels like quite a long time.
I remember we were talking about this in my server. Oh, there we go. We always do that in podcast episodes now. We always mention my server. But we're talking about my server, about our age of our accounts. And I went, well, yeah, look at my account. And it's almost 8 years old. And then you come in saying, amateur, with like your 9-year-old account.
9-year-old account. And I'm realizing now, like I'm turning 19 this year. And my account is 9 years old. Which means that
you're 10.
I was 10 years old, and like I started actual coding, like HTML coding, like a year after I started Scratch, maybe. Damn. That means I was building websites at like 11 years old, bad websites, albeit websites.
Yeah. I can't remember when I built my first website. I think that was in school, probably like when I was like maybe, I think 12 or 13, maybe.
There, yeah.
But yeah, I'm still not much better at it, but I'm slightly better.
You're getting quite good at it. How fun.
But yeah, what have you speaking of, we should probably get this back on track. What have you been working on?
We should. Yeah, I have been working on, we had a little bit of drama before this episode related to one of my projects, which is the app, which is, for those who don't know, it's an app for my college's cafeteria that provides, like, you can rate the food, and you can view the menus and the times and stuff like that. So I've been working on like adding features to that for next semester. So yeah, it's been very, very basic stuff. Menus, ratings. You can see like the hours of like on-campus dining, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, etc. so I'm working on adding a feature where like people can like rate the individual foods like on the menu, and hopefully that'll make people make more informed decisions on whether or not they want to go to the calf, and maybe even what could be presented to the administration to be like, hey, these foods suck, and you should not make these.
I like to think all the food's just going to be rated like 1 star or whatever, and then you're just going to say, look, close it down, it's over.
The average... Just don't serve us food anymore.
the average rating like on like, okay, so even last semester I had it where like you could give it like a 0 to 5 star rating of just like the meal, like in general, just the meal. And the average rating was like 2.5 stars, which gives you a great picture of like the quality of the cafeteria. But regardless, I'm working on that project, which is a React project, React app. And it can be found at thecaf.app.
Nice. I'm waiting for everyone to go to that app now and just rate stuff low just for the joke.
You cannot do that actually right now.
No, Micah thought of it. No.
It is, well, it's on summer maintenance. It's tied directly to, it's a custom API that I built that scrapes my school's cafeteria website, and that's where it gets hours and stuff like that. But you cannot rate it. You cannot rate right now since there's no menu available. So.
I thought I was going to pull some great pranks.
Even if it was up, you have to sign in with an mc.edu account, which...
This is true. Which is another thing that's quite cool.
I thought I was going to pull a lay epic troll and it didn't work. Oh well. Yeah. Back to the drawing board.
Yep. So yeah, that's a thing I'm working on. I am working as usual. I have an internship this summer at a local marketing company called Speak Creative. I'm working there on their content management system, which is a massive React project. So that's been fun. What else?
You have here about relearning guitar.
Yes, I'm relearning guitar. I played. I right now I sing, I play trombone, I play piano, and about I was probably like 12 years old, maybe just like 5 years ago, and I like learned guitar like a little bit. I learned like 4 guitar chords and then just like stopped learning because I was bored. So this summer I was like, okay, I'm gonna make it a goal to relearn guitar from scratch, and so I've been kind of just messing around with that, finding songs to play and just working out the chords and playing them. So yeah, it's been fun.
Nice. I'm waiting for you to start making tracks of that as well. Just start doing some epic guitar shredding.
Yeah, won't be doing that anytime soon.
Oh,
not great at guitar. And this is not on the list either. But also, Waste of Mobile updates are coming out soon. Oh, yeah. Okay, I want to go on a quick rant real quick because I'm slightly confused.
Okay.
It's not really a rant. It's just something I'm confused about. I don't know. So in the Waste of community, the user Oren announced that he is building a Waste of app for iOS. I'm quite confused by this because Waste of Mobile can be compiled to iOS. Bro is making his own app. I'm like, you could, if you literally just download the source code and typed in the command, you could upload it and then be done. And then it's a consistent experience across both platforms. Like, there's not really a reason to.
It's now like a competition between you and Oren.
See
you jewel it out.
See, the thing is, he's starting from scratch, and I am not. I already have a mostly completed app. There's only like 4 more features I need to add and a bunch of bug fixes, and he's starting from scratch for some reason. And what I don't understand though is like, we've talked about this multiple times.
Yeah,
and I've been like, hey, like if you want to get an Apple developer, like I don't want to publish on the App Store, but like if y'all want Waste Stuff for iOS, then find someone who has a developer license and let them publish the app. I'm fine with that because Waste Stuff is an open source, or Waste of Mobile is an open source project.
Yeah, well, notice that well, soon the EU is going to be allowing side loading too. So like just side load it even if you don't want to like pay for the fee.
But again, I can't compile it on by myself because I don't own a Mac. I run everything on Windows and Linux, so I can't compile it. Mm-hmm. But if Oren has the resources to create a Waste of Mobile app and publish it, why doesn't he just compile Waste of Mobile? Because it's already a thing. Okay, I don't know.
We need to get like Oren on the podcast now, just so you can like ask him what in the world are you thinking?
I legitimately let's do that. I'll get in contact with him and we'll see if we can have him on for next episode. But I don't know. I'm not like offended or anything because I'm like, hey, if you want to take it in a different direction, then like by all means do that. But like also, what is your app gonna do that Waste of Mobile does not do? And why couldn't you just compile Waste of Mobile and save yourself hours and hours and hours of development time? Because I've put in hours and hours and hours of time into this project.
Maybe he's gonna just make his app actually allow you to waste money. Like it's just gonna be like a waste money button.
That's fair. I mean, that's not hard to build, though. You can build that pretty. I could add that as an optional feature to.
There we go. I've just given you a new idea for your Waste of Mobile.
I'm thinking. Here we go. Let's think about this. Let's add a new tab to Waste of Mobile that says Waste Money. You click it and it just gives $1 to Jeffalo like every time you click the
button. Like cookie clicker, but you just
real money.
It's $1 every time.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, I've said multiple times that we need to find a way to pay Jeffalo for all of his work. So
I was actually thinking about this, right? So you know how I use Album of the Year or AOTY, right? So they're the same thing. They're like a community project, but what they do is you can like pay a subscription every year, and you get like you can change like your profile picture like color, like the profile like name color and stuff, like just small bits and bobs in that. Mm-hmm. But the whole thing is like obviously it's about support, so why not even have a thing where I know it's like the Twitter joke, but obviously like it's different on Waste stuff because verification, it doesn't work like Twitter. It's not meant to say like this is the real person. It's more just like there. So why not just have it so you can just buy the tick? Because I want to be verified. I've not been verified yet. I'm very upset.
Crap. Okay.
Also, the new creators as well is not verified, so someone could just make another one, and people won't know.
This is true.
Except for the fact that I'm a much better memester than whoever would make the account.
Facts.
But you know,
I've been meaning to talk to Jeff Lowe about that. About you getting verified potentially. I'll ask him.
At least the new creators. I don't care about my personal accounts, but at least the new creators, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And also another complaint real quick. Then I also think it'd be handy for the new creators to have the beta, so I can edit the sidebar and add like all the links there as well. But that's not too big of an issue.
Well, he probably won't do that because I'm not sure how much you keep up with this, but I'm
a dum-dum. So
Waste of is being rebuilt again. So like Jeffalo was in like the midst of building, and was in the midst of building beta, which is version 3.
And there's version 4 now, I think. I think it's on like alpha. So now, it's not like alpha or something.
I think it's alpha.wasteof.money, or it's either alpha or v4. Let me see here.
I think it's alpha because I think I looked at it once, and I think it's alpha.
Yeah, it's alpha. But essentially, he was in the middle of building. Version 3, and then the platform he was using to build it, Svelte, had like a major update that required like a bunch of restructuring. So he's rebuilding it. So from what I understand, sidebars are going to work completely differently in the new version. So he probably won't do any of that.
Yeah,
but, we'll see.
Yeah, I just logged into it. It looks pretty good. It's a bit of a mix of like V2 and V3 design.
Yeah, which I like. I like.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. But yeah,
indeed.
I know I was sounding like I was being serious, but it's just a joke. I don't really care about verify me.
Sure, but I agree. There needs to be some. There's been a lot of stuff suggested, like
I think just even just simple as a donate button. Just give me a
donate button, or even like you said, like hey, like let's verify if this person pays this money. Like let's let them add like an official money waster, an official waste of money user.
Because think about this,
or something like that. I don't know.
You can call it something silly because obviously, I mean, the website's called Waste of Money. Why not have the subscription or like the the donation thing be called Waste Your Money or something?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Or we can have a paid subscription where you get cool features, and it's called Waste of Money Blue.
Yeah.
Wait. How about Waste of Money Purple or whatever color that is?
Oh yeah, because that seems to be the thing, right? They just call or premium, like Waste of Money Premium. Is that going to be premium or the color of the website? Because that seems to be the two defaults that everyone uses now.
That's true. Because YouTube used to be red before they changed it,
and now it's YouTube Premium. But like, everything's premium. There's Reddit Premium. There's like YouTube Premium. Everything's premium.
But for those, you get like a lot of extra features, which Jeff Lowe probably wouldn't want to develop because most of his user base would.
But the thing,
like,
we don't.
again,
it's not really for the features. It's just for like the support. I think it's as simple as have it so people can support, and then just give them a little badge that says they're a supporter.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and like I would like in a heartbeat.
100%.
At least a little bit to Jeff Lowe because he's put in a ton of work and time into
and money himself as well.
This community. Yeah, of course. He's running this all on his own servers, on his own internet. And
the Dell Optiplex.
Power, so. Dell Optiplex, indeed.
That's going to be our new mascot as well. We need to add that to the mascots now. It's the Dell Optiplex.
Definitely. We're already so off topic. We have not even... How long have we been recording? Oh, crap.
A
it's
while.
31 minutes. Okay.
Oh, well...
All right.
Oh,
well, let's keep moving through about things you've seen recently. We won't spend a ton of time on this, but WWDC happened.
Yes,
which is
it
Apple's
did happen.
developer conference where they announce new products and features for their operating systems. So Sean, why don't you kind of give us an overview since you put it in here, and I'll talk a little bit about what I think was the most interesting thing.
Yeah,
not interesting, but the most striking thing to me.
Yeah, I'll leave the headset I think till last because that's going to kind of be a big thing. But we're talking about like all the so, firstly iOS 17, it's happening. It's not really like a big change. It's just like a couple extra like quality of life features. 'Cause I think there's now live transcription for phone calls, like voicemails. There's it's just bits and bobs here and there, just quality of life and stuff. But macOS is getting some cool features. I thought this was very clever, and I actually been thinking about this. I think I mentioned it to you, Micah. So the new, I can't remember what the name. I think it's Sonoma, the new name for macOS.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So macOS Sonoma, it's the new version of macOS coming out, and its main feature that it's kind of going with is it's now got one of the main features is it's got widgets, and it's the same widgets that you can use on like your iPad and your iPhone, which I think is pretty cool. But I was actually thinking, like, why doesn't Windows 11, since it has the ability to run Android apps, why can't it have, like, and you can connect your Android phone, why can't you have your Android widgets on your desktop? Or, like, in the widget sidebar? Because right now, that widget sidebar is a ghost town, in my opinion.
Well, or the opposite, the widget sidebar is just, like, this dump heap of whatever the Snap Microsoft can dredge up from like the sketchiest possible news sources.
I know, right? I was talking about this in the last episode.
Just looking at this,
I looked at it right now. It's so bad.
Here's some of the news sources. I've never heard of any of these. The List.
Love
2
money.
Paragraphs.
What in the world's Love Money? What's Stars Insider? I've never heard of this.
Clutch Point.
Oh my God. What shortcuts?
Like, what is this?
Right, I'm going to read out some of these like headlines because there's just the most stupid things ever.
Oh, goodness.
Right? Pet flying squirrel gives Oscar-worthy performance by staging accident. That is a real headline that I've just read. What else? Let's have a look. Like, some of this is like, just like, why?
It's the most clickbaity article. Like, if it's a decent news feed, like, hey, like Microsoft, if you're gonna give me like actual like decent news and let me like tether it to like, hey, like only show me news about like new technologies, then okay, whatever, fine. I don't care if there's news in my sidebar, even if it's technically ads. But you're gonna give me like all these like random like clickbait political like stuff. I'm like, I don't want that. I have no desire for that.
Yeah, like
and
some of
they
these
push it so they push it so much. When I was using Windows 11, I remember in the taskbar, it was like the only feature that would like immediately pop up as soon as you like hover over it.
Yeah, you have to turn that off. Yeah, and that's the other thing annoying me. I couldn't find the settings because there's no settings icon. It's your profile picture. Like, why? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I was like, I actually had like a decent amount of hope because I saw that, hey, Microsoft is partnered with Spotify to build a Spotify widget in here. I'm like, oh,
That's pretty
if I can like manage my now playing stuff here, and that's fine. No, it's like it is a general. The Spotify widget is a general like list of playlists you can play, and they're not even like mildly
Yeah, they're
tailored
not
to
even
your music
customized.
taste. They're not even customized. They're
Yeah.
like just completely generic. I'm like, this is
I don't
not.
get it.
What is it? I don't understand.
But like,
I think of all the widgets like available on the major platforms right now, like
Windows is the
like
worst.
Android,
by far.
Android, and Android, Windows, and iOS. Yeah, Windows is definitely the worst.
Like, so I tried. So I said this in the last episode, but I went and tried to tune this. So firstly, when you do that, it opens up in Edge, which annoying. But secondly, when I actually went and did it, so I went and tried to change my interests to like stuff I cared about, like like UK news and technology and stuff, and it's not changed at all. It's still the same terrible guff that's like just drivel. But then what's even more annoying is like you can block sources. Like, I try to block some of these sources that you just see and they're like just all clickbait articles. But you can't do, for example, like on Google News, you can like choose what sources you want to see. So if there's like a source that at least has decent articles, usually like, for example, like The Verge, I usually add because that's a good general tech site. But like you can't do that on Microsoft's news thing. You can only block them. And half the time it doesn't work. Like I've seen like block sources still turn up on the feed. So it's just meaningless. It's useless. It's a useless sidebar. The only reason I keep it there is just to see the weather. That's it. And just to make it look more like clean, because it looks weird having like an empty void when you have the taskbar centered.
True.
It's just annoying.
I also, speaking of which, I wanted to let you know that I have found an alternative to Edge Deflector.
Oh, okay. You need to tell me this because it drives me up the wall.
What's it called? Microsoft what? Edge Deflector Windows 11. Let me see. It's called something else. MS Edge Redirect.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard that actually. I need to try and get that.
It can even redirect Bing searches to Google searches from your taskbar.
Yes. Amazing.
MSEdgeRedirect.com. I'll send in the channel so you can get that.
Yeah, if you can send that, I'll set that up after the podcast and I'll get that done because I really could
It's supposedly a little hacky, and like sometimes if you don't configure it right, then it can mess like Edge up where you can't run Edge correctly. But
no, I can't use Edge.
Oh no.
What a tragedy. Next you'll be telling me I can't use Cortana.
See, here's the thing. I, as a guy who works at a web dev company, I have to be able to run things in every browser. So I had to ensure that the Edge would work even after installing it. So
I don't know if you saw that tweet from the Microsoft Edge Twitter account, and they're like saying, "Oh, if you still use Chrome, it just shows that you don't have you don't want to try other browsers." And it's like, bro, your default browser on Windows, the most popular operating system. What are you talking about? But yeah. We should probably get back on topic, I'd say. So macOS, what else? Most of the other stuff's just kind of minor, but the big feature, of course, is Apple did actually announce their rumored headset, the Apple Vision Pro, and the price tag. So I don't know if obviously you saw the last episode, Micah, but we talked about this a little bit, and it was rumored to be $3,000, but we were wrong. It's more than that. It's $3,500 at launch next year. So that's pretty crazy. But
yep.
What's interesting is it's not really going for the gaming aspect. It's they're marketing it more as like a computer in its own right kind of thing.
I definitely foresaw that.
Yeah, I did see that coming, but I still I don't know. It's one of those things I knew that was what they were going to do, but then when I still saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's weird. I don't know why. Because I don't know about you, I've seen you like I posted this on Way Stuff, but like the photo of like the woman wearing it just in this like kind of really sterile room, and it's like, what is this, Black Mirror?
it's quite dystopian.
It is.
It is. There's also an awful. It's both excellent and awful. It's Elon Musk. What do you expect? This tweet after this is. It says Apple's $3,500 augmented reality, and it's a picture of that. And then it says versus $20 augmented reality, and it's like psychedelic shrooms. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You know, he stole this from like Reddit or something. Like he didn't.
Of course he does. All of his memes, he still.
And he probably cropped out the watermark as well while he was at it. But yeah, like, it's a weird thing because like the technology is really impressive. Like what Apple has shown off, even if it's like if this is actually what it's going to be like at launch, it is incredible. It's really impressive what they've done. Like it's
and from what we've heard from
like, what we've heard
YouTube creators and stuff like that, it is as good as it looks.
Exactly.
I watched the MKBHD video after the headset came out, and he's like, it's way beyond anything else that's out there, and it feels like revolutionary. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's Apple. Like they're kind of known for that. Like they'll wait forever and then release something that's like really polished. So, but the only thing I thought was, and I'm still quite surprised, is very un-Apple-like, is that the battery bank thing. Like I get why they're doing it that way, but I'm surprised because that is so un-Apple-like to have like this like detached like power bank for the headset.
But you've seen the power bank. It's a sleek power bank.
It is.
And
sleek.
The way it connects is very sleek.
I'm not like, it's not a criticism. I totally get why they're doing it. I'm just surprised because it's not Apple. It's still not an Apple thing to do. It's just not how they do stuff. Well, think about it. They removed the headphone jack from minimalism. So I mean, you know, they're known for kind of making their products as like sleek and as simple as possible without any extra like things needed, really, in the sense. Well, they don't even put chargers in the boxes anymore, so that kind of shows like what their mentality is. Be it still quite surprised they did it, but again, it's not. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's a criticism because I totally get why they're doing it. It's a first gen product, so
right,
sure,
you know.
And the like eyesight thing, where on the back it has a display and it displays like your eyes so people can see it. I don't know if it's just me, but it just looks off for some reason. Like,
yeah.
It looks like how it would look up close, moved forward, which is like basically what it is. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird because it looks like your eyes are detached from like your face. It just doesn't look right. Yeah. It looks a bit creepy. I don't know. It's just like I saw it as well and it was kind of creepy, I thought.
It's quite unsettling.
Yeah, I remember like you're saying, I watched the NKBHD video, and it's when he mentioned the kind of like the bit where you could record videos with the headset, and then you have like the dad filming his kids with the headset on, and it looks straight out of Black Mirror. That stuff looks dystopian as hell. It looks so like, I don't know why Apple thought, yo, that's a good idea. Let's show that. It just looks depressing. You know, like, I don't know if it's just me, but it just looked really depressing seeing that. Because like it's already depressing seeing people like, you know, like filming like every moment of their life with their phones, but like this is like the next level where you're literally wearing your camera on your face.
Happy birthday! Don't mind me.
Yeah,
yeah, basically.
One thing some people pointed out, like the headset's gotten a lot of criticism for the price and be like, oh, it's unrealistic. Well, the point is,
it's not for like
the naming. Yeah, it's not for the general public. And the naming, it like the fact that it has Pro after name implies that at some point there will just be the Apple Vision.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will be
I think people for it's again product. It's actually quite un-Apple-like for like a while because they haven't released like a cutting edge product that's like kind of bordering on like experimentation as much. They're kind of a company that'll wait for other people to kind of figure out the kinks and stuff before doing it themselves. But like the Vision Pro is very much like a first generation like bleeding edge product in my view. So I can't criticize it for being expensive and a bit cumbersome in terms of like having a power bank and it only lasting 2 hours on a charge. But like again, it's one of those things where like you say, eventually we'll just have the Vision, and then probably a Vision Pro 2 that'll be, more like, probably cheaper, hopefully, and also, just more like makes more sense for the general consumer, because this is very much for the early adopter. I don't imagine like this is going to be the Apple like faithful that are going to buy this, not your average iPhone user.
Right,
for sure. And it's also, like they said, it's also for, hey, like, so let's get developers on board so we can actually have apps when we launch this, like, so we don't have to launch
they showed Apollo. We'll get into it a bit later, but they showed the Apollo Reddit app, which is awkward. But
You want to transition into that then?
I think we'll do that in a sec, because the other one thing I wanted to quickly just bring up was their new Mac Pro. It's got the M2 now, finally. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And also
another computer that costs the same as a car.
Yeah, that's the Apple way, baby. And what's the other thing as well? macOS. They're actually taking gaming seriously. They even had Hideo Kojima on the live stream, which is pretty nuts. So it'll be interesting. Finally, they're actually taking gaming seriously on the Mac. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm always skeptical of that.
I'm always skeptical. Apple and gaming just doesn't go together, but we'll see.
No, it does not.
Apple Arcade,
Sorry, this is backtracking a bit, but when you said like the Mac was the price of a used car, I don't know if you guys have seen rumors for the like Apple car that they're making, and now I'm wondering, oh my god, how expensive would that be?
Oh no, I don't even want to think about that. I don't even want to think about
$1 million car.
It's gonna cost more than like a Lamborghini or something at launch.
Gosh,
I like to think it like assuming it's probably gonna be an electric car, so I like to think it's gonna have like a lightning cable. It's for charging. It's not gonna use like a.
It's gonna charge at like extremely slow speeds. It takes like 4 days to charge.
Or oh, that'd be amazing to see how that goes. You can wear your Vision Pro inside the car, and you can play a racing game with the Vision Pro or something like that. I love to think how that's gonna work in the ecosystem. You have to have an iPhone to unlock the car.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Oh, that'd be great. You can't. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm really. I'm curious about the Apple cars. Like how locked down is it going to be? Because that's like a completely different market.
I'm also just curious. Like I don't know. We've been hearing Apple car rumors for like 10 years. Like I don't know if you can actually trust any of that. Who knows? We'll see.
I just want them to release one just to see how silly it is. And how awkward it is to use, because I bet it's going to be one of those things where you're going to have like every Apple product on like under the sun to actually get any benefit out of it.
True, yeah.
But we'll see. But yeah, I think we'll move on to now to Reddit. I think, since I kind of did a somewhat of a smooth transition by accident there, but so basically. It's about Reddit's changing the API. I thought actually, Micah, since you're kind of our resident, coder, and you actually use work with APIs a lot, especially right now, a waste of money, or waste of mobile. Sorry. I was wondering if you could explain what an API is, just for anyone who doesn't know what an API is.
Yeah, so that stands for Application Programming Interface, and it's essentially just a URL that you can make a request to, or a collection of URLs that you can make a request to, and just get like raw data from a platform. So, like, for example, let's take an example. I was working this morning on the CAF app. I have built an API that if you make a request to that API, it will give you the menu and hours in a specific format from my school's website. And so, like, the Reddit API would give you, like, hey, make a request to this URL. You can get all the Reddit posts in this subreddit. Or, hey, you can get all the people who have upvoted this post on Reddit. And so, from what I understand, Reddit is now charging for their API, which, yes, makes sense. Reddit is trying to file for an IPO. They're trying to go public right now, and so they need to be more profitable in order to get investors, which is, of course, completely understandable. However, the way they've priced their API, it was going to make the creator of Apollo pay, I believe, is it 20 million or 2 million?
20 million. From
20
his
million?
from his numbers, obviously. I mean, I don't know
his numbers.
Yeah, 20 million.
I read his. I don't know if you've read his actual.
I did. Yeah, I've read his
actual
post. Yeah, I've read it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's wild. Some of the stuff in that. We're not gonna get too much into the drama stuff because that would literally take the entire episode, I think, to like delve into all of it. But basically, there's been a breakdown in communication between the developer of Apollo and the CEO of Reddit and the general Reddit like employees, and it's turned into a big old mess. But basically, from what I understand, pretty much most of the third-party Reddit applications are going to be shutting down at the end of the month because none of them can afford to pay that much for the API. Because from what it seems, because I think, I can't remember the exact number, but I know they said Imgur, which is like, a similar comparable service, their API costs are like $160 dollars for like a certain amount of calls to the API. I don't know exactly the numbers, but comparable to Reddit, it's like way more reasonable of a price than what Reddit's asking for. So it seems more like Reddit's trying to price everyone out rather than trying to make money off of this per se.
Yep.
At least from what it seems.
So the way it's affecting the community and even the creative community is subreddits are deciding to go blackout and just not respond to messages, not post new posts, no upvotes, no gold, none of that.
No,
and
my Reddit gold.
Private. Indeed, and so
no more. I can't thank the strangers for the gold anymore.
Yep. So that's their big.
So we have some numbers as well for this. So there's a post that a lot of the subreddits are linking to. I think I have it saved on Reddit. I'll let you just kind of explain it a bit more if you want, but I saved it somewhere. But I think it's like combined with all the subreddits, it's about 1.6 billion like subscribers combined. Yep. So that is a lot. Yeah. But basically, I know a lot of the some major subreddits, I think it was music, videos, and a couple other ones, are actually saying that they're going to go private indefinitely unless Reddit changes the API changes that are coming up next month. So that's pretty a nuclear option considering, I mean, these subreddits, I mean, I know music, they have like 30 million subscribers. And just
sure.
And that's a lot of content to lose because Reddit only has value because of user generated content.
And again, just coming at this from a creative perspective, because that's kind of the goal of the podcast is that where you when you have a platform like this, you forget that the reason you have the platform is the creators that are on the platform. And we generally probably wouldn't think of Redditors as creators. They are creators. They are creating the content, the posts, the comments, the images that are keeping Reddit alive, because the Reddit thrives on content, and all Reddit is a content provider and organizer. And without the content, you can't have the site.
No Reddit.
There's no Reddit without the Redditors. So
exactly,
which again, by and large, Redditors are some of the scum of the internet. But just from a pure platform and creator perspective, it doesn't make sense. Like they're going to ruin Reddit by trying to price out these third-party clients.
Exactly. Because, I think the other thing they were saying was, we make jokes about Reddit mods, and I will make those jokes because they are funny. But for some of these mods who, might I note, do not get paid for this, they do it for free, which I think is insane. I would never do that. But anyway, for the people who are insane enough or have no life to do this, they sometimes rely on third-party tools to actually moderate these communities. So now that these tools are going to be gone, it's basically going to make Reddit way more scammy. There's going to be way more spam and just terrible content on that will not be filtered out anymore. Which I just I don't understand it. It seems like you're shooting yourself in the foot by doing this. It's the same thing with like Twitter, because Twitter did this recently because they did the same thing with their API. They've now made it you have to pay for it, and it's extortion. So all the third-party clients are mostly gone now. And again, it's like it's not brought anything better. It's just made Twitter worse, which I didn't know was possible, but they somehow did it. They figured it out. But it's the same. I just don't get it. So. A quick bit of data here. So there's a list of like some of the apps that have announced they're shutting down. So you've got Apollo that's kind of the main one that's getting attention, but there's other ones like Reddit is Fun, Relay, Bacon Reader, what else? Infinity for Reddit. I use that one occasionally. That's the thing. So I was curious because I don't actually use the main Reddit app when I do use Reddit, which is very occasionally. But I downloaded the main actual official Reddit app to try it out, and it is so slow. It's actually it's so bad. I don't know how in the world people could expect you to use that. It's insane. Like it's like ridiculous because I was using Infinity afterwards, and it is incredibly like smooth and like fast and efficient, whereas the Reddit app, it just feels clunky. Animations are choppy. It is a mess. I do not know what in the world's going on at Reddit, but that is a mess of that app.
Yeah, and honestly, this entire fiasco too is like made me appreciate, like, of course this is on like a ridiculously smaller scale, but like as someone who like most of my larger projects have been third-party projects, like third-party clients for various things, because my two major projects in the past have been Itchy, which was a Scratch app, an app for the Scratch platform, and Waste of Mobile. And even just from perspective, ignoring the money problem, like just from a perspective of like building a third-party client for a site that doesn't want you to do it, which was Itchy. Like Scratch did not want that to happen. They like banned me even mentioning Itchy.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, so like I couldn't even mention Itchy. I couldn't, and the API has no documentation or anything like that. The difference between building a third-party client for something that someone that does not want you to build it, and someone who does, like Waste of Mobile, where I DM Jeffalo all the time. And I'm like, hey, what is your plan for this API? Like, is this going to be structured differently? Is there anything I should know about this in the future?
Yeah.
The difference between building those is so massive, and like Reddit is so far gone now on the terms of like, hey, no, we're gonna do everything we can to ensure that you cannot build this.
Yeah. Well, it's not as that. Like the third-party community for Reddit has basically built like a lot of stuff I imagine is being copied from those apps by Reddit themselves. So
and I'm pretty sure that Apollo for Reddit has more downloads than the actual Reddit app.
But the Reddit app, I didn't know this, but the official Reddit app is based off a third-party client that they bought, which is called Alien Blue or something. So they bought that and basically based it off of for the official app. So like they are literally benefiting from the third-party community, and now they're just basically killing it off because they don't want it anymore. But I was actually thinking, because you mentioned Waste of and that, but I was thinking as well that you say, because it's not just a thing where it benefits you in the sense of you have someone that can help you build the app and make it better, but it also has helped Jeffalo because I believe he's kind of basing the design for the alpha version of Waste of off of your app. So again, it's kind of a mutual benefit for both parties here.
Yeah, I don't know if that's intentional or not. If them looking very similar is intentional or not, but it is nice that my palette is definitely taken from Waste of Beta, so it's which has a very similar palette. So I don't know if I'd go that far to say that.
I wouldn't say he's copying it. I thought I should say he's done it himself. He's totally Jeffalo by himself. I should say that. But what I just meant was it's an idea of like it's a thing where it's mutually beneficial for both parties.
And the fact that still that like as soon as Waste of Mobile is fully feature complete, which is very very close to now, it will become just like the official Waste of app. But that's because, again, that it is I am the developer, but at the same time, it is a partnership between me and Jeffalo because Jeffalo is helping me by advising me, and hey, here's how this section of the API works, and hey, here's how this is going to be structured in version alpha. So there's such a big difference, and like again, I understand like Reddit's like, hey, we need to make money, and
if
to
that's the
actually have
problem
that for an IPO. But
it's so funny
yeah, focus on money.
because like Apollo, the developer said, I'm happy to pay, but it has to be a reasonable amount. It can't be like just ridiculous amounts of money that they know he can't afford. It should be reasonable, which it seems like he's able to do that with other platforms. So why couldn't Reddit do the same?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's the main problem, at least. But yeah, it's a pretty wild situation. So yeah, I believe the protest on Reddit is from the 12th to the 14th. So that, and obviously, like I say, some subreddits are going beyond that too for indefinite privatization as well. So that we'll see how that goes in the end.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, I think we should probably move on to our other topics. I was going to say, do you want to talk about the Spotify AI DJ? Real quick.
I think we talked about this a little bit, haven't we? Have we talked about it?
No, we haven't brought this up yet. We not talked about DJ at all because I just got it. Like, no.
Okay. DJ is quite interesting. Well, the main concept behind it is pretty simple because it's literally just Spotify's recommendation engine, which everyone knows is really good and is just excellent at understanding your music taste and what you might like. I listen to like my daily mixes are like my number one played playlists. I listen to mixes like all the time. I have my own playlists that I do listen to at certain times, or probably quite often. But again, most of the times I'll just pull it up and play a daily mix. DJ is an interface for Spotify's recommendation engine that has a voice and acts like a radio station. And the voice is eerily realistic. It's quite realistic. It calls you by name, which is a little interesting.
It didn't call me by name. It
doesn't all the time. It does sometime. I think it also depends on whether or not you have your
real name. Yeah, because mine's not my real name, so maybe that's why.
Okay. Yeah, probably not.
It would be a bit weird.
It calls me Micah like every now and then. It's a little bit.
Hello, Micah. What would you like to listen to today?
I don't even know.
You're just listening to the radio one day, and it's like, anyways, so Micah, what would you like to listen to next?
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
You just start following you around all your apps.
DJ is fine because it's like, hey, here's 4 songs to listen to that are from this genre. Here's like another 4 songs from like this vibe, or here's some stuff that you've been listening to recently. But like, all it is like your mixes reskinned with like a voice. It's not as revolutionary as they make it seem. But it's a neat little feature, and I still use it sometime. Yeah, it's a fun feature.
I think it was quite funny because I like how sometimes like when he sometimes when they do like the ones based on your recent listening, and it'll like say, here's a song from XYZ artist first. And it's so funny when he tries to pronounce some of the names because it gets it completely wrong. Because one of the artists, I think I actually mentioned this artist on the last episode, was Eden, and he calls it Aiden. Just calls him Aiden. It's amazing. There was another one where it wasn't even an artist I listened to, but it was like one the bot recommended, and it was like a Japanese name. So it literally was just it just looped and went like, I think I don't know what it was even saying. It was like amen, 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 just like that for like a solid.
That
was hilarious.
I've not had any big glitches like that, but but I have definitely had some mispronunciations. Yeah,
the mispronunciations are funny.
It's not really as big news, or people maybe making it seem, because they're like, oh, it's an AI DJ.
I feel like it's that thing now where we're in like this like kind of periods with AI where like basically just saying it is like a buzzword, like, oh, we've got generative AI.
But that's the thing, Spotify's had AI, like that's how their recommendation works. The recommendation system works, and that's how it's been working for years. So they've had like the most impressive part of this technology has already existed for multiple years. So
it's like when Meta did the metaverse, and it was like, wait, but VR chat exists. It's not, you've not invented anything.
You just made a worse version of it. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
we are making a very long episode. What'd you say?
I haven't tried it yet, but it still seems like a much more like creative implementation of AI than just like slapping Chat GPT and just being like,
I would agree with that.
We have AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would say it's at least like a unique idea. It feels like they at least had like an idea of like, okay, we need to put some sort of AI feature in. Here's an actual good idea, at least. It felt like they actually thought about it for 5 minutes instead of just slapping a bot in it or something. It's it's just like a fun feature. And I think they said from their own data, like when it recommends a song from an artist you haven't listened to before, people are more likely to listen to it, which I think tracks because it's like, it's more like it feels like more of a personal recommendation than just like, Spotify just spitting stuff, like spitting like random ideas at you and just seeing what sticks, which I can kind of see. But yeah, it's a fun feature. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
The other topic we have for things we've seen, Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, it's amazing.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it because I just want people to go and see it. But it is so good.
And we also don't have we don't have a ton of time to talk about it, but
yeah, we're speedrunning this now.
This is true. We're already an hour into recording, so. But it is an excellent film from a musical perspective. The artist Daniel Pemberton and Metro Boomin did like excellent jobs with both the soundtrack and the score.
Yeah,
it's an excellent movie from that perspective.
It
is the most beautiful film I have ever seen. I have not seen anything that is more pleasing to the eyes than Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I don't want to give spoilers, but the art, like the amount of different art styles they throw together is insane. And it somehow works because like when you think about on paper, the amount of different art styles that clash together, it seems like it shouldn't work. But then when you actually see the movie, it's like amazing how they make it all work.
And also the thing that I noticed the most that looked the best to me was that every motion, like when the characters are swinging on webs and stuff like that, every motion you can tell it was so meticulously planned. Everything is so fluid and like every punch, every flip, everything is so perfectly choreographed and so smooth.
Yeah, I think I was reading about so this is not a spoiler, but like I think the main fight, like the main fight sequence towards the end of the film, where Miles is running from, somebody's. I think they said it took like 3 or 4 years just to make that sequence, and that it tracks. It doesn't surprise me, but it's like it just shows how much time and effort went into actually making that as good as it is. And that's what I appreciate. Cause it feels like a lot of films, I don't want to say lazy, but it feels like they don't want to put the extra effort in. Whereas this film, it feels like that effort was put in and then some.
That is one of the things that slightly worries me about the fact that they're claiming the sequel is only like 300 days away.
I have to think they have to made them together. They have to like made both the films like at the same time, like kind of. Yeah,
together. I think they've probably started some of the visual stuff, but they can't have done too much because I know they talked with some of the actors and like the actors are like, we haven't recorded lines for this, so I'm like,
yeah. Oh god.
So
please don't be bad. Please don't be bad.
I'm gonna say, well, I don't think it's gonna be bad.
I
hope they don't have to delay it. I hope they just don't have to delay it.
Yeah. We'll see.
Like, and even hotter take, I would not be disappointed if it didn't live up to this movie like 100%.
No.
Because this movie is like the bar is so high here that I legitimately don't know how they could go higher. Like this movie is it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with this movie.
True.
And I don't like if they didn't go higher than this, I would not be. The bar just they can't go too much lower.
Yeah, I think so. So please just go and see it. I don't want to spoil it. Just go and see it.
Yeah, go see it. It's worth seeing. It's also worth seeing. There's some movies that are like, hey, you should go see it. But this is a movie where like you need to see it in theaters.
You have to see it
in theaters. You need to see it.
Exactly.
It is an experience. It's good.
Yes.
All right.
Let's go.
Finally, here's the main topic. An hour and 8 minutes into the episode.
That's a TNC way.
Indeed.
Okay, so should I start?
Obviously, since we have a new guest, Elsie, I thought...
Hello.
Yeah, I've just got to do a bit of an intro. So as we have a new guest, Elsie, I thought we'd have them talk a bit about kind of what they do, some stuff that they kind of are quite well versed in that. And yeah, so I'll let you just take the floor now.
Okay. So, one of my main interests slash like hobbies, I guess, is making conlangs. So, conlangs or constructed languages are basically languages that like different people like make on their own, which it's very difficult to create like a full cohesive language. That's why they usually take like a lot of time. There are actually some ones you might have heard of, like Esperanto, which I I think it's become so popular that it's actually like the official language of like a country. Not sure, don't quote me on that. But yeah. So I in terms of like I guess cohesive like to languages I've worked on to a point of where I'm like happy with them. I have three, and so one I think I might have I shared a project on it where so I created its own writing system for it, and I did a few logos in that writing system. Here, wait, let me find it and put it in the channel. But
right.
So anyway, so there's that one which I actually made a long time ago, and in terms of like actual like grammar, structure, things like that of the language, it's terrible. So a core part of a language is the phonology, or like the sounds in a language. I started this language, Rotaliho, like when I was just starting out. It doesn't have a phonology, which like every single language has. So I just put down letters thinking, okay, this is fine. It also contains a character, which is only in the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is like a way to write sounds here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really supposed to be in like a language. There are a bunch of mistakes with it here. I just sent it. It looks like a question mark.
Oh, it's like a so like for people who are
question mark,
they won't be
no
able
dot.
to yeah basically.
It's a glottal stop, which it's hard to describe, but basically when you say uh-oh, it's like the stop in between the and the o. Like you wouldn't just say oh, you say uh-oh. And
I understand a lot of what you're saying just because of like because I'm a singer, and I know a lot of this applies to like all IPA stuff and glottal stops and stuff. That's all very vocal concepts too.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so the next language I made, Devayan, is my most recent language. I'm still kind of working on it. It's for a like world building project, which I'm still waiting for it to start, but it's pretty interesting. And then my final and my favorite language, Ibradish, is
I won't be able to pronounce that.
Not
my accent. That. My accent will not allow me to say that.
Yeah.
Wait, Sean, can you roll your tongue? Like that?
No, I'm not even going to try. That's going to be a disaster.
Oh, dang.
I'm not very good. For God's sake, I'm dyslexic. I mean, I can barely speak and write. God, I'm trying to do like, complicated stuff like that. I mean, that's a high ask there.
Fair enough.
I can say Scottish slang. That's probably the furthest I can get.
In the title, it has a sound like that, the B. So it's basically the trilled R, but it's a B, which is, I think it's only present in a few languages. So anyway, I made the language as a competition with one of my friends, and the prompt was we had to make a language using the letters in rodent, like the name of a rodent. So they did gerbil, I did capybara, and
capybara,
it's like
of course,
legendary.
It's a fully functional language using only those letters, which I'm actually proud of. So
yeah.
So how did you get into conlangs? Like, where'd you discover these?
I kind of started as like when I was a very little kid, when I was like, ooh, I'm gonna make a language. And I didn't actually make a language. It was basically like, ooh, every vowel is the next vowel in the alphabet, or every consonant is the next vowel in the alphabet, which isn't really a language. And then I got into making writing systems, which I call languages, but aren't. You probably a bunch of people do it where it's like this symbol is A, this symbol is B, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm pretty sure I started like in August when I started making like actual languages, which yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm also interested in music production. I've doing I've been doing it for a while. I haven't really shared much of it because I was pretty terrible when just starting out.
We all were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going actually before you go into it,
s-
I was going through some old design stuff like I did back in
Mhm.
school, and oh my god, it was so bad. I think I sent some of it to my server. It's terrible. So yeah,
Mhm.
don't worry about it. I think we're bad at like the thing we do now.
True.
And
Some of my old
yeah,
music production stuff is bad.
Ballad of a Santa though.
Ballad of a Song. That's the worst one.
Santa
Oh gosh.
I have
What
to
a
bring it
mess.
up.
Yeah, every episode. That's like another like consistent bit. It's like you consistently
Yeah.
bring up the Ballad of a Santawa.
Have to.
Yeah.
True.
So
But yeah,
the
sorry,
music I make, it's okay. It's mostly instrumental. I don't sing for my music, mostly because I can't sing. And yeah, I just recently released an album, or I released it on Scratch. I'm trying to release it elsewhere, but the title name of the last track, which is just a lowercase I, got corrupted, and I've emailed them like several times, and yet they can't like verify it, so it can't be released until that gets verified, which they won't respond to their email. So
why won't they verify it? Like, what's the issue?
So, I think so. The distributor I use, Main Groove, I think that's how you pronounce it. So, I typed in my titles, and so basically, I don't know if you know this, but for I think iTunes and maybe Apple Music, the titles have to be in a formatted like camel case, where basically the first letter is capitalized, and like every word, all the other letters are lowercase. And so, since I think it just messed it up, so it got corrected to all caps title underscore error, which I don't know why, and then it was just title space error. Which
my favorite
and then
song. Title underscore error.
Title underscore error.
Yeah.
Great one.
And then they just like, so while it's like uploading and getting reviewed, you can like see progress, and like after it got changed, they just like stopped reviewing all of my songs. So
jeez,
still
Good
waiting
grief. Okay.
for that one.
I would say that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just hoping that gets released soon enough.
Yeah, hopefully that'll all work out for you.
Yeah. So what's the genre of the machine anyway? Or kind of like the style or whatever of that nature?
It's kind of a blend between like instrumental, 8-bit, kind of. It's like I don't know. It's pretty experimental.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool. Nice.
So,
Very neat.
Very. Speaking of music, music
It's
segment.
the music segment.
music.
Huzzah.
Did you not? Come on, give me that. I think that was a good transition.
That was a good transition,
Yeah.
Sean. We gotta stop pointing out the good transitions because then they're no longer good transitions.
I just like calling them out, man. I need to get
Fair
the
enough.
wins where I can. I need to take the W's where I can.
Fair
But,
enough.
you know, I think speaking of, I think we'll start with you, Micah.
Alrighty, sounds good. There's a band I listen to called Dawson Hollow. They make good original music for sure, but they have an EP of just 4 songs that are covers of like classic good classic songs. Probably like I don't remember what eras, but the covers EP it's only 4 songs, so it's Seabird, Lovely Day, Dreams, and Mr. Blue Sky. So it's covers of just mainly older songs, and it's just a good revisiting of I'm sure you know Mr. Blue Sky. You listen to Electric Light Orchestra, right?
Of course. Yeah.
And Lovely Day is Bill Withers, I think, was the original artist.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a short little EP. But how would I describe them? It's like indie rock folk kind of hovering place. But the covers album is a little more electronically inspired, I think. But I don't know. It's a good little short listen.
Nice. Very nice. What about you, Elsie? And for one, I actually know this album, so I'm happy about this one because I have heard this album and it slaps.
Yeah, so I listened to it on my trip to Maine because I was like, well, I'm gonna be bored on the plane since it's about like a 4-hour flight. Might as well download some new music to listen to. And so I asked Bard to just test it out to see for it to recommend me an album. And so I listened to the album I listened to was Sometimes I Might Be Introvert by Little Sims. And I was very surprised since it's not like it's kind of different from like what I usually listen to, but it's such a good album. It's amazing. Sorry.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of the songs are really, really good. And like, I feel like it's all just like an incredible album. It's very cohesive. Even the like interludes are spectacular.
Yeah, it's a very well put together record.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sean, what about you?
Oh, here we go. All right, so I'm doing In Color by Jamie XX. So I don't know if you know who the XX is. You might have heard that it was some of their tracks because they're fairly popular group. You might have heard the track Intro, okay, it's a fairly popular like kind of electronic track from like back in the 2010s. But anyway, so Jamie XX, he's kind of the main producer behind the XX, and I would say probably the most talented out of all the members. Just saying. I'm just putting it out there. But he has his own solo project called In Color, which I'm actually going to send the while I talk about it, I'm just going to find the picture of the album art because it is a really nice cover.
Oh yeah,
but
I saw it.
It is really, really nice. But In Color, I like to almost think of it a bit as almost like a curated DJ set in a way, because he is a DJ. That's kind of his thing. Like that's what he's mostly known for. And it's like he kind of took tracks that he probably has been working on in DJ sets for a long time and then kind of like condensed them down into proper tracks. And what's really great about the album is it kind of has a really sleek, almost like a bit like a DJ set in terms of how the tracks flow into one another, but it still has like, it doesn't feel like it's super extended or feels too long, because obviously some DJ sets you have that thing where like you'll have something play for quite a long period of time, as just the vibe's different. But for the album, it's been condensed down. I know, like the second track, Sleep Sound, there's another version which is like 6 minutes long, but on the album it was condensed down to I think about 3 minutes or just nearing enough 4 minutes, which makes much more sense for the album because it keeps the flow going. But even the production, it's kind of got this again, it's an electronic album. It's got a bit of a indie vibe to it as well in certain tracks. The other members of the XX appear on it as well and give some vocal contributions as well. On Loud Places especially is really good. But yeah, it's just a really good, well-produced electronic album with some pretty catchy hooks as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah,
Very
I'd definitely say I'd say Sleep Sound, Loud Places, and Gosh are the best tracks off the top of my head. But yeah, the album art too is just the icing on the cake.
Indeed. Looks very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we have been recording for an hour 25 minutes. This has been
Let's go.
a significant episode. As usual,
always.
Our albums
As usual.
Not albums, our episodes are
Our
trending.
albums now.
Our episodes are trending to be longer and longer. We're gonna have to get better at staying on topic. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. I'm Micah.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Elsie.
Alrighty. You can find us on various places on the internet. Me at michaellinley.com. You can find the podcast itself at bio.link/TNC. Sean, where can we find you?
You can find me on my website, data with a dash in the middle, .versal.app. You can also find me on my Discord server, Taz Hangout, which is tazhangout.versal.app as well.
Indeed. You need to get a domain.
I do. I need to buy one. I need to get it set up.
They're not expensive.
I need to do that. They're not expensive. It's more that thing I just can't be bothered. That's what it is. It's just being lazy.
Fair enough.
But yeah, where can we find you, Elsie?
I do not have a website, but you can find me at wasteof.money /users/Elsie. So, yeah.
Alright, should we just plug our waste subs while we're at it as well?
Fair
you can
enough.
you can find me at data with a dash in the middle.
And find me at Micah LT. Micah LT. Indeed.
Please follow.
Indeed.
I need the clout.
Indeed. Yes, you do. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Ta-ra.